Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Vengeance, watching the stars stretch past the ship's windows. This was humanity's first journey beyond their own solar system. After 3 months of traveling through empty space, they had finally reached the Kepler sector. "Captain, I'm getting something strange on the sensors," said Lisa Park from her station. She was the ship's chief engineer and had been monitoring their equipment since they left Earth. Her fingers moved quickly across the control panel as she tried to understand what she was seeing. Jake walked over to look at her screen. "What kind of strange?" "Multiple ships, sir. Big ones. They're not like anything in our database." Lisa's voice carried a hint of worry. "They're heading straight for us." Ryan Webb, the tactical officer, looked up from his console. "Captain, those ships are armed. Heavy weapons from what I can tell. Should I raise our shields?" Before Jake could answer, the communication system crackled to life. Kate Davis, their communications specialist, turned to face the captain with wide eyes. "Sir, we're being hailed. The signal is coming through on frequencies we've never seen before. It's definitely alien." Jake felt his heart beat faster. This, was it? Humanity's first contact with another intelligent species. Everything they had dreamed about was finally happening. "Put it through, Kate. Let's see who our new neighbors are." The main screen flickered and changed. The image that appeared made everyone on the bridge take a step back. The alien creature on the screen was tall and thin, with gray skin that looked like metal. Its eyes were bright red and seemed to glow with an inner fire. Sharp teeth filled its mouth when it spoke. "Primitive creatures," the alien said in perfect English, though its voice sounded like grinding metal. "You will identify yourselves and prepare to be boarded. I am War Commander Vexthal of the Zephyrian Empire. This sector of space belongs to us." Jake straightened his uniform and stepped forward. "I am Captain Jake Morrison of the United Earth Ship Vengeance. We come in peace and hope to establish friendly relations with your people." The alien creature threw back its head and made a horrible sound that might have been laughter. "Peace? Friendship? You insects think you can negotiate with the Zephyrian Empire? We have ruled this part of space for 1,000 years. Every species that has entered our territory has either served us or been destroyed. We don't want any trouble," Jake said, keeping his voice calm. "We're explorers, not warriors. Perhaps we can discuss this like civilized beings." "Civilized?" Vexthal's red eyes seemed to burn brighter. "You call yourself civilized? Look at your pathetic ship. Look at your weak technology. You are nothing but animals that learned to build crude machines." Ryan Webb whispered urgently to the captain. "Sir, I'm reading at least 50 ships out there. Our weapons wouldn't even scratch their shields." Jake nodded slightly but kept his eyes on the screen. "Commander Vexthal, we have no intention of challenging your authority in this sector. We simply wish to pass through peacefully." "There is no peaceful passage for insects," Vexthal snarled. "You will surrender your ship immediately. My scientists wish to study your species before we decide whether to keep you as slaves or use you for experiments." The crew of the Vengeance exchanged worried glances. This was not going the way anyone had hoped. Kate Davis tried to send a message back to Earth, but her equipment showed that some kind of jamming field was blocking all communications. "Captain," Lisa Park called out, "they're powering up weapons, multiple targeting locks on our ship." Jake made a quick decision. "Ryan, raise shields. All hands prepare for evasive maneuvers." But it was too late. The Zephyrian ships fired strange blue beams that passed right through the Vengeance's shields as if they weren't there. The beams hit the human ship and everything went wrong at once. The lights flickered and died. The engine stopped working. Even the artificial gravity began to fail. "What did they do to us?" Jake demanded. "Some kind of disabling weapon," Lisa replied, her hands flying over her controls. "It's like it turned off every system on the ship. I can't get anything to work properly." On the screen, Vexthal watched their struggles with obvious pleasure. "Your primitive technology is no match for Zephyrian science. You cannot even understand what we have done to you." Suddenly, the ship shook as something large attached to their hull. Through the windows, they could see alien craft that looked like giant metal spiders crawling across their ship's surface. "They're boarding us," Ryan announced, though everyone could already hear the sounds of cutting tools working on the ship's outer doors. Kate Davis managed to activate one final emergency system, a hidden beacon that would record everything that happened and try to send the information back to Earth. Her fingers worked quickly as heavy footsteps echoed through the corridors outside the bridge. "Done," she whispered. "If we're lucky, Earth will know what happened to us." The bridge doors burst open and Zephyrian soldiers poured in. They were even more frightening up close, tall, thin creatures in dark armor that seemed to absorb light. Their weapons looked nothing like human guns but crackled with the same blue energy that had disabled their ship. Jake stepped forward, placing himself between his crew and the aliens. "I am the captain of this vessel. These people are under my protection." The lead soldier, who had more decorations on his armor than the others, made that grinding laugh sound again. "Your protection? You cannot even protect yourself, human." One of the aliens shot Jake with a blue beam from a small weapon. The captain collapsed to the floor, his body shaking uncontrollably before going still. He was alive but could not move or speak. "Captain," Lisa cried out, but when she tried to reach him, another soldier stunned her as well. One by one, the crew of the Vengeance was disabled and dragged away to the Zephyrian ships. As they were carried through the corridors, they could see other Zephyrian soldiers destroying human equipment and taking samples of everything they found. Bexthel's voice echoed through the ship's speakers as the humans were loaded into alien prison cells. "Let this be recorded for your pathetic species to hear. The Zephyrian Empire has claimed its newest prizes. These humans will serve as examples of what happens to those who dare enter our space without permission." The last thing Kate Davis saw before losing consciousness was the Earth's blue beacon, floating away from their captured ship, carrying humanity's first and possibly last message about what lay waiting for them among the stars. In the cold metal cells of the Zephyrian prison ship, Captain Jake Morrison and his crew began their nightmare as the first human prisoners of an empire that saw them as nothing more than interesting insects to be studied, broken, and forgotten. The emergency beacon from the UES Vengeance drifted through space for 2 months before Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station picked up its signal. Dr. Alex Turner was working the night shift when the computer started screaming warnings about an incoming message from beyond the solar system. "This is impossible," Alex muttered as he read the data. The beacon contained video files, audio recordings, and detailed scans of alien technology. Everything the Vengeance's crew had managed to record before their capture was there. Within hours, the message reached Admiral Sam Carter at Earth Defense Command. Sam was a tough woman who had spent 30 years in the military, but her hands shook as she watched the recordings of Captain Morrison and his crew being taken prisoner by creatures that looked like metal nightmares. "Get me President Brooks on the secure line," Sam ordered her aide. "Right now." President Helen Brooks was in a meeting when the call came through. When she saw Sam's face on the screen, she knew something terrible had happened. "Helen, we have a problem. A big one." Sam's voice was grim. "Our people found aliens and they're not friendly." The president watched the recordings 3 times before she could speak. The images of Vexthal threatening to invade Earth and treat humans like insects made her stomach turn. "How long do we have?" Helen asked. "Unknown. But based on what we heard, they see us as weak. They might come to finish what they started, or they might take their time and enjoy torturing our people first." Within 6 hours, every major world leader was in an emergency video conference. The recordings from the Vengeance were shown to presidents, prime ministers, and generals from every nation on Earth. For the first time in human history, the entire planet faced a threat that could destroy them all. "We need to respond," said the British Prime Minister. "We can't let our people suffer in alien prisons while we do nothing." "Respond with what?" asked the Chinese president. "You saw their technology. They disabled our best ship like it was a toy." Dr. Alex Turner was brought into the meeting to explain what the science teams had learned from studying the alien technology shown in the recordings. "Their weapons use quantum field manipulation," Alex explained, trying to keep his words simple. "They can pass through our shields because our shields work on completely different science. Their ships are also much faster than ours. So we can't fight them? President Brooks asked. Alex looked uncomfortable. Not with current technology, but there are some projects we've been working on. Things that were considered too dangerous to use. Admiral Carter leaned forward. What kind of things? Quantum weapons that could tear apart matter at the atomic level. AI systems that could think faster than any human brain. Ships that could adapt their defenses in real time. Alex paused. We stopped research on these projects because we were afraid of what they might do. The room was quiet for a long moment. Finally, President Brooks spoke. Dr. Turner, how long would it take to build a ship using this dangerous technology? 6 months, maybe less if we use every resource on the planet. But the risks of not building it are worse, Helen said firmly. We're not going to let these aliens think humans are easy prey. The project began immediately. Every nation on Earth contributed their best scientists, engineers, and materials. Secret facilities that had been closed for years were reopened. Weapons research that had been banned was suddenly the most important work on the planet. Captain Ben Stone was chosen to command the new ship. Ben was known for winning battles that everyone said were impossible to win. He was also known for not following rules when the rules didn't make sense. I want to see the ship, Ben told Dr. Turner when they first met. They walked through the construction facility where thousands of people worked around the clock. The ship taking shape before them looked nothing like the Vengeance or any other human vessel. It was larger, darker, and covered with weapons that hummed with barely contained energy. We're calling it the UES Retribution, Alex said. It's designed, for one purpose, to make the aliens regret ever meeting humanity. Ben nodded approvingly. Tell me about the weapons. Quantum disruptors that can tear through any known material. Adaptive armor that learns from each attack and becomes stronger. An AI system called Area that can process battle information faster than any human could think. And the crew? Hand-picked from around the world. Commander Troy Fisher handles weapons. He was the best tactical officer in the American Navy. Lieutenant Amy Cole is our engineer. She's already improved the ship's design 3 times during construction. Major Nick Hayes is our pilot. He can fly anything that has engines. Dr. Grace Miller runs tactical analysis. She can spot weaknesses that others miss. Ben spent the next 4 months training with his crew. They practiced using weapons that could destroy entire fleets. They learned to work with Area, an AI that could think so fast it seemed to predict the future. They studied every piece of information about Zephyrian technology from the Vengeance's recordings. Meanwhile, scientists around the world worked on other projects. New communication systems that the aliens couldn't jam. Stealth technology that could hide ships from Zephyrian sensors. Medical equipment to help human prisoners who might be rescued. The aliens think we're insects, Ben told his crew during their final training session. They think our technology is primitive and our people are weak. They're about to learn how wrong they are. Amy Cole looked up from her engineering console. Captain, all systems are ready. The quantum weapons are charged and the adaptive systems are online. Area is running perfectly. Excellent. Troy, are you ready to show these aliens what human weapons can do? Commander Fisher grinned as he checked his weapons controls. Sir, I've been ready since I saw what they did to Captain Morrison and his crew. Dr. Miller activated her tactical displays. I've analyzed every second of the recordings from the Vengeance. I know how their ships move, how they attack, and where their weak points are. Major Hayes started the ship's engines. The Retribution lifted off from Earth with power that made the ground shake for miles around. Course set for the Kepler sector, Captain. Time to bring our people home. As the Retribution left Earth's solar system, messages of support came from every nation on the planet. For the first time in human history, every person on Earth was united behind a single mission. Admiral Carter watched the ship disappear into space from her command center. Good hunting, Ben, she whispered. In the depths of space, the Retribution flew toward its destiny. Captain Stone stood on the bridge, looking at the stars ahead. Somewhere out there, aliens who thought humans were weak insects were about to discover their greatest mistake. The hunt was about to begin. The UES Retribution moved silently through space like a ghost hunting its prey. Captain Ben Stone studied the star charts on his screen, marking each Zephyrian outpost that Area had detected. The AI system had been scanning enemy communications for 3 weeks, learning their patrol patterns and identifying their weaknesses. Area, show me the nearest Zephyrian target, Ben commanded. The ship's AI responded in a calm voice that sounded almost human. Captain, there is a small mining station 2 light-years from our current position. It has minimal defenses and 12 enemy ships. Perfect. That's where we start. Ben turned to his crew. Troy, prepare the quantum weapons. Amy, make sure our stealth systems are working perfectly. Nick, set course for the mining station. Commander Troy Fisher's hands moved across his weapons console with practiced skill. Quantum disruptors are charged and ready, Captain. These aliens won't know what hit them. Lieutenant Amy Cole checked her engineering displays. Stealth field is active, sir. We're invisible to their sensors. The adaptive armor is also online and learning from their scanning frequencies. Major Nick Hayes guided the ship toward their target with expert precision. ETA to target. 6 hours. We'll arrive during their night cycle when most of their defenses are powered down. Dr. Grace Miller studied the intelligence reports that Area had gathered. Captain, this mining station supplies rare metals to 3 major Zephyrian military bases. Destroying it will hurt their ability to build new weapons. 6 hours later, the Retribution arrived at the mining station. Through the ship's windows, they could see the ugly gray structures that the Zephyrians had built on a small asteroid. Alien ships moved slowly around the station like metal insects crawling over a rock. Remember, Ben told his crew. We hit hard and fast. Don't give them time to send a warning or call for help. Troy locked his weapons onto the first target. Firing quantum disruptors, beams of pure energy shot out from the Retribution and struck a Zephyrian patrol ship. The alien vessel didn't just explode, it simply stopped existing. One moment it was there, the next moment there was only empty space where it used to be. Direct hit, Troy reported with satisfaction. Target completely destroyed. The other Zephyrian ships began to move, trying to find the source of the attack. But the Retribution's stealth systems kept it hidden, while Troy systematically destroyed one enemy ship after another. They can't even see us. Nick laughed as he maneuvered the ship into a better attack position. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. Within 10 minutes, every Zephyrian ship around the mining station was gone. Then Troy turned his weapons on the station itself. The quantum disruptors tore through the alien structures like they were made of paper. Station destroyed, Grace reported. No survivors detected. Ben nodded grimly. Good. Arya, scan for any outgoing communications. No distress signals were transmitted, Captain. The enemy had no time to warn their allies. Over the next month, the Retribution struck 12 more Zephyrian outposts. Each attack was swift and deadly. The human ship would appear from nowhere, destroy everything in sight and disappear before anyone could respond. News of the mysterious attacks began to spread through the Zephyrian Empire. War Commander Vexathul called an emergency meeting of his top officers in his massive flagship. 17 of our outposts have been destroyed, Vexathul snarled at his subordinates. Our patrol fleets are disappearing without a trace. Someone is hunting us and I want to know who. Sub-Commander Kralvex, his second-in-command, looked nervous. Sir, could it be the humans? The ones we captured? Vexthul's red eyes burned with anger. Impossible. You saw their pathetic ship. Their primitive weapons couldn't scratch our armor. This must be another species trying to challenge our empire. But sir, another officer said carefully, the attack patterns suggest only one ship. What if the humans built something new? Silence, Vexthul roared. Humans are insects. They could never threaten the Zephyrian Empire. While the aliens argued among themselves, the Retribution was already planning its next attack. Arya had located something much more important than mining stations, a prison complex where captured aliens from many different species were being held. Captain, Grace Miller reported, long-range scans show human life signs at the prison complex. It could be the crew of the Vengeance. Ben felt his heart speed up. How many guards? 50 ships and heavy ground defenses. It's one of their most secure facilities. Can we break through? Amy Cole studied her screens. The adaptive armor has been learning from every Zephyrian weapon we've encountered. I think we can take whatever they throw at us. Then we're going in. Nick, set course for the prison complex. The rescue mission began at dawn on the prison planet. The Retribution dropped out of stealth directly above the complex, catching the Zephyrian guards completely by surprise. All weapons fire at will, Ben commanded. Troy's quantum disruptors lit up the sky as they tore through enemy ships and defense towers. The aliens tried to fight back, but their weapons couldn't penetrate. The Retribution's adaptive armor. Their shields are adapting to our attack patterns. One Zephyrian officer reported in panic. Our weapons are becoming less effective with each shot. Nick piloted the ship through a storm of enemy fire, dodging and weaving while Amy's engineering. Systems adapted to every new type of weapon the aliens used. Shields holding steady, Amy reported. The adaptive systems are working perfectly. Within the prison complex, Captain Jake Morrison and his crew heard the sounds of battle outside. Their cells. They had been prisoners for months, enduring alien experiments and torture, but they had never given up hope. That's human weapons fire, Lisa Park whispered to the others. Someone came for us. The prison doors suddenly opened as Aria hacked into the alien security systems. Armed figures in human spacesuits rushed into the corridors searching for prisoners. We're here to get you out, one of the rescuers said through his helmet radio. Stay close and move fast. As the human prisoners were evacuated to waiting shuttles, the Retribution continued its devastating attack on the prison complex. Every alien structure was systematically destroyed. All prisoners recovered, Nick reported as the last shuttle docked with their ship, including the entire crew of the Vengeance. Ben smiled for the first time since leaving Earth. Excellent work, everyone. Now let's show these aliens what happens when they mess with humanity. In his flagship, War Commander Vexthul watched reports of the prison break with growing horror. For the first time in his life, he began to understand that the Zephyrian Empire might have made a terrible mistake. The humans were no longer prey. They had become predators and they were coming for revenge. War Commander Vexthul stood in the command center of his massive flagship, watching as reports poured in from across the Zephyrian Empire. Half of their outer territories had gone silent. Entire fleets had vanished without sending a single distress call. The mysterious attackers had freed prisoners from 3 more prison complexes. Sir, Subcommander Kralvek said nervously, perhaps we should consider retreat. Whatever is hunting us has technology we don't understand. Vexthul's red eyes blazed with fury. The Zephyrian Empire does not retreat. We have ruled this sector for 1,000 years. No pathetic species will drive us from our rightful territory. He activated the Empire-wide communication system. All ships, all bases, all commanders, report to the Nexus system immediately. We will gather our entire fleet and destroy these cowards who attack from the shadows. On the bridge of the UES Retribution, Captain Ben Stone smiled as Aria intercepted the alien communication. They're gathering their whole fleet in one place, perfect. Captain Jake Morrison, recently rescued from alien prison, stood beside Ben on the bridge. That's exactly what Vexthul would do. He's too proud to run, even when he should. How many ships are we talking about? Ben asked. Dr. Grace Miller checked her tactical displays. Area estimates over 500 Zephyrian warships will gather in the Nexus system, their entire remaining fleet. 500 against 1, Troy Fisher said from his weapons station. I like those odds. Amy Cole looked worried. Captain, the adaptive armor is good, but 500 ships firing at once might be too much. Ben turned to Aria's main display. What do you think? Can we handle that many enemies? The AI's voice remained calm as always. Captain, I have analyzed Zephyrian fleet tactics and communication protocols. There is a way to turn their own weapons against them, but it requires precise timing. Explain. Zephyrian ships use a shared command frequency to coordinate their attacks. If we can penetrate their network and upload a virus during battle, we can cause their ships to target each other instead of us. Jake Morrison nodded approvingly. That's brilliant. Use their technology against them. But, Aria continued, We must get close to their command ship to upload the virus. Very close. Nick Hayes grinned from the pilot's seat. Leave that to me. I can get us anywhere we need to go. 3 days later, the Retribution arrived at the Nexus system. Through the ship's windows, they could see hundreds of Zephyrian warships, arranged in a massive formation around Vexthol's flagship. It was the largest gathering of alien military power in the history of their empire. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, Kate Davis reported from her communication station. She had joined the Retribution's crew after her rescue. Vexthol is telling the galaxy that he's about to make an example of humanity. Ben activated the ship's external speakers. Open a channel to their flagship. Vexthol's ugly face appeared on the main screen. When he saw the humans, his expression changed from confidence to shock. Impossible, the alien commander whispered. You are the insects from the primitive ship we captured. We're the insects who have been destroying your empire piece by piece, Ben replied calmly. We're here to finish the job. Vexthol's shock turned to rage. You destroyed our outposts? You freed our prisoners? How is this possible? You called us insects, Jake Morrison said, stepping into view. You said we were weak and primitive. You were wrong. This ends now, Vexthol snarled. All ships, destroy that human vessel. Show them the true power of the Zephyrian Empire. The space around the Retribution exploded with enemy fire. Hundreds of alien weapons shot beams of energy at the human ship from every direction. But Amy's adaptive armor had learned from months of battles. The shields absorbed the attacks and grew stronger with each hit. Shields holding steady, Amy reported. The adaptive systems are working perfectly. Troy, return fire, Ben commanded. The Retribution's quantum disruptors lashed out at the Zephyrian fleet. Each shot completely destroyed an enemy ship, but there were so many aliens that the destroyed vessels were quickly replaced by others. We're making progress, but not fast enough, Grace Miller reported. At this rate, the battle will last for hours. Time to implement the virus plan, Ben decided. Nick, get us to their flagship. Major Hayes pushed the ship's engines to maximum power and dove straight into the heart of the enemy fleet. Alien ships fired at them from all sides, but the Retribution weaved between their attacks like a dancer. Almost there, Nick called out as they approached Vexthol's massive flagship. Area, prepare the virus, Ben ordered. Virus ready for upload, Captain. I need 30 seconds of direct contact with their command ship. The Retribution slammed into the side of Vexthol's flagship and locked onto its hull. Enemy soldiers tried to board the human ship, but Troy's weapons kept them back. Uploading now, Area announced. On the Zephyrian command bridge, computer systems began showing strange error messages. Vexthol watched in horror as his ship's weapons turned to target other Zephyrian vessels. What's happening? He demanded. The humans have infected our systems, his computer officer reported in panic. The virus is spreading through our entire network. All across the alien fleet, ships began firing on their own allies. The organized attack formation collapsed into chaos as Zephyrian vessels destroyed each other. Captains screamed orders that their ships no longer obeyed. Impossible, Vexthol whispered as he watched his empire's greatest fleet tear itself apart. How can insects possess such advanced technology? Because we're not insects, Ben's voice came through the communication system. We're humans, and we don't forgive those who hurt our people. Within an hour, most of the Zephyrian fleet had been destroyed by their own weapons. Only Vexthol's flagship remained, its systems too damaged to fight. Please, the alien commander begged as his ship began to break apart. We surrender. The Zephyrian Empire surrenders. Too late for that, Jake Morrison said coldly. You had your chance for peace when we first met. You chose to be bullies instead. The flagship exploded in a brilliant flash of light. War Commander Vexthol and his dreams of empire died with it. As the Retribution flew away from the wreckage, Arya sent a message across the galaxy on all frequencies. The message was simple. The Zephyrian Empire is defeated. Humanity is not to be underestimated. Any species that threatens Earth or its people will face the same fate. Within days, alien governments from across the galaxy began sending messages to Earth. They requested trade agreements, military alliances, and friendship treaties. Everyone wanted to be on humanity's good side. Captain Stone stood on the bridge of the Retribution, looking out at the stars. The galaxy would never again see humans as weak insects. They had learned that humanity could be peaceful explorers or deadly warriors, depending on how they were treated. The age of human expansion among the stars had truly begun.